Hi, I'm Dennis, and in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble your triple decker salad table. So once you've laid out all your components, the first thing we want to do is identify the two frame legs with the plug in the top. So there's two of them. It also has a plug in the bottom, but in this case we just want to make sure we find the two with the plug in the top. It's really important that you get this bit right, just so you get the flow correct. The next step, we want to make sure that we get our cross frame with the small fitting. So you can see there's a cross frame with 3 large fittings and the cross frame with 2 large fittings but 1 small. So just to identify that one, we then want to place that into ensuring that the small piece faces down in line with this frame. And we'll just put that on so it's fairly tight. We'll then get a piece with 2 outlets, also ensuring that they, in this case, they're all facing up when it's laid out on the ground like this. We get another 2. Now we can pick that up. Now the other piece with the plug in the top, so we've got a plug in the top in this one and a plug in the top in this one. We just want to place that down over these 3 connections, and we'll just give that a bit of weight and make sure that's fully seated. Alright, that's 1 frame done. Alright, we'll then get our next 2 legs, and these 2 do not have a plug in the top. They do have a plug in the middle and they do have a plug in the bottom on both sides. We now need to get one of our cross pieces with the 2 large outlets. That will go in the top end. The 2 large pieces in the middle. And the one with the 3 large pieces, that's going to go towards the bottom. Alright, so we've got, once again, they're all facing in the same direction. We'll then grab our next part of the frame, pop that on all 3. Same deal, making sure they're facing in a nice direction there. They're all pretty even. And we'll give that a bit of weight once again and make sure they're nice and seated. So there's our 2 end frames. Alright, we'll grab our first end frame, and then depending on how you want your salad table to sit in the area that you're about to grow all your veggies in, you want to make sure that the channel that's going to face to the outside has a salad table sticker. You can see here, so in this case I'm going to put it just here. So first of all, I'll put in this one. We want to do this with all 6 channels, ensuring that the lids do face in the upright position, of course. Make sure they're seated as best as you can for now. Then we're going to grab our other end part of the frame, and we just want to pop it over all 6 of them. Might take a little bit of manoeuvring. 2 people's always better, but I've done it a few times, so I'm sure I'll work it out. There we go. Once they're all in, I'm just going to give them some more weight again. I'm just going to flip it over. Just want to make sure that all these are nice and seated. Now if you do have any leaks in the end here, just ensure that they are seated correctly in here. You may also grab a bit of thread tape, wind around the end of the channel and then push that in. That may also help. If it gets to the point where you can't stop the leak, you can't get it in far enough, you don't have enough strength, whatever, a little bit of sealant will also help as well. Just some sort of silicone sealant. All right, we'll just make sure that they're all nice and secure. Feels really good. There you go. So on the container we've got a hole in the lid. We want to make sure, in this case, I've got the 3 large ends down the bottom here. That's the end that the hole's going to go to. If it's up the other end, then the hole will go up to that end. We'll now place the container underneath the end with the 3 large holes. Next thing we're going to do is grab our little pump fitting and we're just going to screw it into the pump. There's no requirement for thread tape in this case. Just get him on there nice and tight. We can now place the pump into the container. Now this is a really important part because we want to make sure we put the power lead through the bottom of the container first, and we're going to pull that all the way through. All right, that's all the way through. We now want to grab our threaded end of the hose, and we're just to make it easier, we're just going to close that tap off there, just so it gives us room to run some thread tape. Now it's really important that you do run thread tape around this thread, otherwise you might get some leaks, and we don't want that. I reckon about half a dozen or even 6 turns will be enough. We go about 3, 4, 5, 6. Or was that half a dozen? All right, we're now going to get our threaded fitting there, and we're just going to screw that on. Nice and hand tight, just get it up nice and tight. And at this point, we're just going to turn this tap back on again. So on is in the direction of the hose flow. That's off, that's not so much flow, and that's fully on. So I recommend just to put it on fully on at the moment. All right. We're now going to come up to the opposite end, and we're just going to push this in to this end and just get up there nice and tight. Make sure that's seated nicely. Then run the hose around and under into there. We'll then grab the end of the hose. We want to put it through the top of the container. We'll just reach in and grab that pump out. Sometimes the feet just come off like they did then, but it's all right, I'll put them on later. And we just want to get, as it's come in through the top of the container, we then want to get the hose and pop it onto the fitting there and just push that on. Nice and tight till it seats. Now we're going to put the pump back into the container. We can stick our lid on at this stage. Righto, we'll now put the container underneath your triple decker, and we've got slightly shorter and slightly longer, so we're going to use the slightly longer part. We're going to now insert that into the hole beside your power cord and your feeder pipe there. That'll slide in there, and then we just want to maneuver it so this then gets seated inside here. I'm just going to push that back into position. There you have it. So now we get our power cord, our feeder line and our return line coming through the same hole. And that's our triple decker assembled. So for the growing part, don't forget to jump on our website to learn how to grow your seedlings. If you're a little bit impatient like me and you don't want to wait for your grow cubes and your little seeds in there to start sprouting before you put them in here, you can just go to the local nursery, the hardware store, buy some dirt grown seedlings, wash the dirt off, and then stick them straight into one of these little baskets here, pop them in the hole, and you're good to go. So next, we're just gonna get our nutrient. We'll fill up these with just water out of the tap, fill them up to the top, the A and the B. We then want to add 100 ml of A and 100 ml of B into your nutrient tank down there, and then we want to fill that up with water right to the top as well. We can then turn it on. Just check for any leaks as well. Like I said, if you do have any leaks, just make sure that they are nice and seated together, these little end caps. Give them a nice little twist, just like this as well as you're pushing them in. We also have nutrients, grow cubes, baskets and seeds on our website for the time when you do need them again. If you've got any questions, jump on our website, thesaladtable.com.au, or send us an email at support@thesaladtable.com.au. That sun's getting really bright over there. But anyway, happy growing.